33 variable. Now that we've understood the concept of time and space, we want to talk about the mind space, because space is not only what you can see, but also the other realms, the other dimension. They are all included in this space, including the mind. Yeah, the mind space. Yeah, so we always create in the mind space. Then once it has been formed in the mind space, it's gonna crystallize and uh, form in this physical reality, which is more dense. So the reality that you're seeing using the eyes is a very dense reality. That is why we descended your essence, which is in a high density, in a very high density, descended to live in this physical body in this low density. So if you are out of here, once you leave this body and this reality, you leave this dense, this low vibrating area to become to go back to the high vibrating area, which is almost the all. Okay, yeah. So when we're talking about the mind space, we're going to talk about the ego mind. Yeah, the ego mind, which is more, I'll say, is more dense or more attached to this physical reality. Yeah. Then there is the everything, the higher mind, the higher self, your intuitive, more powerful self of you. Yeah. In other instances, we always refer it as God, because it's the all, the everything. Yeah, yeah, which is different from this individualistic ego of you, yeah, which is has boundaries and which is limited to certain realities and certain ideas which we have accumulated over time. Yeah, so for you to focus and maybe change your reality or change your mind or change anything that you want, you have to do it from the mind space. It starts in the mind space. That's why I always say work on your mind. But you know, the ego mind has content which you have accumulated for very many years. It took you so many years to accumulate and come up with the content that you have in your mind. The reason why you say this is blue, this is green, because it's a training that you've done for a long time in your mind to come up with such kind of agreements. Now, to change the reality that you're experiencing, to change the things that you see every day, yeah, we have to work on what is in the mind. Now, changing what is in the mind, the container that we've accumulated for very many years, is quite difficult, because that is what makes the behavior, the habits, the things that you unconsciously do every day, because they have been trained and downloaded deep into you. Yeah. So for you to change it, it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of effort, take a lot of things. So the better way of doing it is not to change what is in the ego mind, but to expand it, break the boundaries, and dissolve into the all, where everything exists. And even those things that you already accumulated, they all exist in there. So the best way to go through these is just to dissolve, dissolve what you have in your mind. Yeah, dissolve from the ego mind into the all, into the everything. Yeah. So once you have dissolved into the everything, now you'll be able to download and maybe even change the reality that you have. This is what why we always do mind mapping. This is why we always do quantum leap. It's all about this, because we want to dissolve the things that you are used to, which are in the ego. We want to dissolve the ego mind, the things that you are always used to, that you've been trained since birth, that you've been trained from your parents, from in schools to everything, the reality as you know it. So we want to dissolve these into the universal mind. We always call it the mind of God. Yeah. So instead of changing the things in the ego mind, we retain whatever we have in the ego mind, but we want to dissolve it into the universal mind so that you are able to access the unlimited flow, which is always available in space. Yeah. Because the mind space is still this space that you are covering it here. Yeah. So all we need to do, instead of changing what you have in the ego, which we have always accumulated for a long time. And in fact, your mind will start fighting you because it doesn't want to dissolve away from it. So instead of fighting it and destroying it, instead just expound and dissolve into the universal mind where everything exists, including everything that you are. 33 variable. That's my time.